everybody's having a really good week this week. So this week, what's popping and dropping is a hand and heart pop-up card. And we have a three-dimensional heart here on a set of hands that go up and down in our card. Okay? So why don't we go ahead and head over to Design Space, and I'm going to show you how we can create this card. Let's go. Okay guys, now that we're here in Design Space, let's go to Shapes. Let's get a square. We're going to make that square 4.75 by 6. We're going to need 4 of these, and that's going to be our pretty paper. Then let's go to Shapes and get another square. We are going to make it 10.5 by 6.5. Then we're going to go to Shapes. We're going to get a score line. We're going to make that score line 6.5 inches long. Then we're going to grab the score line in our box, go up to align center, and then go down to the bottom and click on attach. Then we can group all of this together and move it aside. The shapes, we're going to get a square. We're going to make that square 1.7 by 2.644. We're going to place the X at 1 and then the Y at 1. Then we're going to go to Shapes. We're going to get a score line. We're going to make that score line 2.644. We're going to place the X at 1.85 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to get another score line. We're going to make it 1.155. We're going to rotate it 135. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.96. Then we're going to duplicate that score line. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 2.81. Then we're going to right click, duplicate the score line. We're going to rotate it 225. We're going to place the X at 1.85 and the Y at 2.81. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place the X at 1.85 and the Y at 1.96. Then we're going to grab it all and go down to the bottom and click on attach. And then we can move this piece aside. Now let's go to shapes. We're going to get an oval. We are going to make that oval 2.674 by 1.674. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to place the X at 1.022 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to go to shapes again. We're going to get another oval. We're going to make it 2.417 by 1.758. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.411. Then we're going to grab them both and go down to the bottom and click on slice. This is the piece we want to keep right here. Now we're going to take that shape that we just made, we're going to adjust it to 1.702 by 2.212. We're going to place the X at 1.036 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to go to shapes. We're going to get a diamond. We're going to make it 1.79 by 2.125. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.375. Then we're going to grab them both and go down to the bottom and click on slice. Then what we're going to do is highlight this red piece right here we cut. So it should look like this if you look over here in my layers. And then we're going to go to contour. And then we're going to get rid of these two little pieces right here. Then we're going to click on the blue piece. And if you look in my layers, this is the blue piece I want you to click on. And then we're going to go down to contour, and then we're going to get rid of these two little shapes right here. And then I want you to grab it all and then go down to the bottom and click on weld. Then we should have something that looks like this. And I want you to right click, duplicate this piece, and set this piece aside. Then what we're going to do is we're going to adjust this piece right here. We're going to make it 1.697 by 2.486. We're going to place our X and our Y at 1. Then we're going to go to Shapes. We're going to get a square. We're going to make it 1.056 by 0.306. Then we're going to place our X at 2.014 and the Y at 1.889. Then we're going to grab them both and then go down to the bottom and click on Weld. Then we should have this piece right here. Now that piece we just made, what we're going to do is we are going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.208. Then we're going to go to Shapes. We're going to get a square. We're going to make it 0.044 by 1.333. And then if you want to right click, duplicate, and then set this piece aside because we're going to use this piece over and over again. So we'll place this first piece, the X at 1.194 and the Y at 1. Then we can right click, duplicate that piece. We're going to place the X at 2.5 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to duplicate that piece again. We're going to place the X at 1.542 and the Y at 2.361. Then we'll duplicate it again. We're going to place the X at 1.847 and the Y at 2.361. Duplicate it one more time. We're going to place the X at 2.181 and the Y at 2.361. Then what we're going to do is grab all of those yellow pieces we just made, and we're going to go down to the bottom and click on Weld. Then we're going to grab them all and then go down to the bottom and click on Slice. And then we should have this piece that looks like this. Now I want you to right click, duplicate, because we are going to need 2 pieces of this shape. And we're going to set that aside. And then we can get rid of our sticks. Now what we're going to do is take that piece, we're going to adjust it to 2.084 by 2.842. We're going to rotate it 343.91 degrees. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1. Then we can right click, duplicate, and we're going to adjust it to 2.125 by 2.9. We're going to rotate it 21.14 degrees. We're going to place the X at 2.07 and the Y at 1.003. Then we can grab them both and then go down to the bottom and click on Weld. And then we have this piece here. Now I want you to right click, duplicate, and we're going to set this piece aside. We'll need it for later. Now with this piece, we're going to adjust it to 3.23 by 2.776. We're going to place the X at 1.461 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to go to Shapes. We're going to get a square. We're going to make it 1.097 by 0.361. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.877. Then we can grab them both and then go down to the bottom and click on Weld. And then we should have this piece here. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.137. Then we're going to take this piece over here. We're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place the X at 2.111 and the Y at 1. We'll duplicate it again. We're going to place the X at 2.431, the Y at 1. The next one is going to be at 2.75, the Y at 1. The next one is at 3.041, the Y at 1. The next one is 3.43, the Y at 1. The X is at 3.759, the Y at 1. The last one, the X is at 4.134 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to grab all of our yellow squares we just made. We're going to go down and weld them together at the bottom. And then we're going to grab it all and then go down and click on Slice. And then we have this piece here. And we can get rid of this. And we only need one of these, so we'll move that aside. Now we're going to adjust the heart. that we just duplicated from over here to 2.619 by 1.992. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.347. Then we're going to take this piece here, we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place the X at 1.604 and the Y at 1. We're going to place the next one at 1.946 and the Y at 1. Then 2.287 and the Y at 1. Then the X we're going to place for the next one at 2.629 and the Y at 1. Then the next one we're going to place at 2.962 and the Y at 1. Then this bottom one here, we're going to place the X at 1.31 and the Y at 2.376. Then we're going to duplicate it. We're going to place the X at 3.308 and the Y at 2.376. Then we're going to grab all of our yellow pieces, go down to the bottom under our layers, click on Weld. Then we're going to grab it all, go down to the bottom in our layers panel, and we're going to click on Slice. And then we have this piece here, and we need to right click, duplicate, because we'll need 2 of these. Now let's right click, duplicate on this heart. We're going to adjust that heart to 1.883 by 1.285. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.69. Then let's right click, duplicate on our stick over here. We're going to place the X at 1.26 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to duplicate it. We're going to place the X at 2.57 and the Y at 1. Then let's duplicate it again. We're going to place the X at 1.596 and the Y at 2.388. The next one, we're going to place the X at 1.891 and the Y at 2.388. And the last one, we're going to place the X at 2.253 and the Y at 2.388. Then let's grab all of our yellow pieces, go down to our layers panel and click on Weld. Then we're going to grab it all and then go down to the bottom and click on Slice. And then we have this piece here, and we're going to right click, duplicate, because we are going to need 2 of these also. Let's right click, duplicate on this piece that we saved. And then we're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.602. Then we're going to go over to our piece here. We're going to right click, duplicate it, but we're going to adjust this piece in height. We're going to keep the width at 0.044, but we need the height to be 1.514. And we're going to place the X at 1.162 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place the X at 2.463 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to do the next one. We're going to place the X at 1.5 and the Y at 2.542. Then let's duplicate it, and we're going to place the X at 1.829 and the Y at 2.542. Then we're going to duplicate it one more time, and we're going to place the X at 2.167 and the Y at 2.542. Then let's grab all of our sticks here, go down to the bottom, click on Weld, then we grab it all and then go down to the bottom again and click on Slice. And then we have this piece here. Now let's right click, duplicate this piece. We're going to adjust it to 1.581 and the height to 2.322. We're going to place the X and the Y at 1. Then let's right click, duplicate this piece. We're going to place the X at 1.126 and the Y at 2.152. Then the next one, we're going to place the X at 1.425 and the Y at 2.18. And then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place the X at 1.744 and the Y at 2.18. Then we're going to duplicate it again. We're going to place the X at 2.077 and the Y at 2.166. Then we're going to duplicate it again. We're going to place the X at 2.411 and the Y at 2.166. Then we're going to grab all the yellow blocks, go down to the bottom, click on Weld, grab it all, click on Slice. And then we have this piece here. And then we're going to right click, duplicate, because we are going to need 2 of these. Let's right click, duplicate this piece again. We are going to adjust it to 1.122 and the height to 2.028. We're going to place the X at 1 and the Y at 1.247. Then let's grab this stick. We're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place the X at 1.254 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to place the next one, the X at 1.862 and the Y at 1. And our last one, we're going to place the X at 1.541 and the Y at 2.354. Then we're going to grab the yellow pieces, go down to Weld, grab it all, click on Slice, and then we have this piece here. Now we're going to right click, duplicate. What we need to do is resize this. So what we can do is grab it all of our pieces that we just made. Then we're going to go to Align Center, and then group it. And then once we group it, we're going to go up and change the width to 2.789 and the height to 2.097. Okay guys, so here's all the basic pieces you need to make this card. Go ahead and add anything extra you would like to add to it. Don't forget to go up and name and save your project. And why don't we go ahead and get these pieces cut out, and then I'll meet you at the craft table and we'll put this together. I'll see you there. So why don't we get our card base and our pretty paper, and we're going to go ahead and work our score line and then put our pretty paper on. So let's go ahead and do that. And this paper is from the Stampin UP, and it's from the Sweet Talk collection. Okay, so once we have our pretty paper on, what we can do is get our hand and our pieces to our heart. And our little mechanism that we cut out. So if you want, we can go ahead and work our score line in the middle of our hand. And once we have that work, let's work our little mechanism piece here. And we're going to fold it in half first. And then the 2 pieces at the front where our V score line is, we're going to fold those. And they are going to go underneath. So they'll be mountain folds. And then for our second set of score lines, I'm going to fold mine like so, and then work my fold towards me. And then this is how it should be folding. I'm just going to trim these just a little, like so. Now I'm placing mine about 2 inches up from the bottom of our card. And what we're going to do is just put glue or tape on our little piece here, and you just want to line it up where this score line is in this score line. So if you want to put the score line like I have it, so this score line matches up with this one, and then we can fold this down and then fold this back and put glue or tape on our little triangle piece here, and then we can just fold our card to our mechanism. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can see how my point, my score line, is right in the score line of my card. Now let's just go ahead and do the other side. Now if it's folded down, all you have to do is press in the center and it'll fold right up like it should. So now what we can do is put our heart together. So I'm just gonna get our pieces, and if you want, it's a little easier if we match everything up. So this is everything that's matched up. You should have two pieces that don't have a match to it. We're gonna need that piece, and we're gonna start with our heart with our tab. You wanna make sure your tab is on the left side. The two pieces that don't match, this one, we're going to take the center line and place it in the center of our heart, like so. Now these two right here with the tabs, those are next. We need to make sure when we put these in, the tab is furthest away from us. So again, our center piece is going to go on either side of the piece we just put in. Again, the same thing, make sure our tab is furthest away from us, and we're going to put it on the opposite side of that we placed this one. So we're just going to slide it right down in the middle, like so. Okay. Then the piece that has the next, has 5 slits in it, we're going to place one on each side of the heart. Okay, so it should be looking like that. And then our last piece, we're going to place it in the center. The center piece here, we're going to place it at the end. And we're going to put one on each side. Now, all we're going to do is feed this heart on the bottom, and we should have five slits for it. So this is kind of hard to do. We should have 5 slits. So we have one in this, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the only 2 we don't have a slit for that is going to slide in at the moment is the 2 at the end. So it should look like that. And the two slits we have here, it is going to shimmy up into this end slit, okay? So this slit is going to go in here. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing with this end. So it should look like that. Now our small heart, we have 3 slots that's open, and we're going to drop it in to those 3 slots that go here. Okay, so now that's what it's looking like. And if you notice, we have 2 open slots. Well, the only 2 we have left is on this one that has a slot, and this one has a slot. And we're gonna have to pull it down or pull this one up to get it in here. So I'm gonna pull this one up a little and then just slide it right in. Okay. And then we're gonna do the same thing with this end one. I'm gonna kind of shimmy this. I'm gonna pull it right here, just a little, and then I'm gonna pull this one down and then push it back in. So we have one side completed. All right, now we can turn it over, and we're just gonna do the exact same thing that we did to that side. All right, so now we have it all completed, our little 3D heart. Isn't that cool? And this is just the easiest way I found to put it together. Okay, so now we have this together, and now we're just going to put our little tabs through these slots. But what I like to do is open these slots just a little. So you can take a cutter or tweezers, something where you can just go through and just move it just a little. And I'm going to start with my end tab down here. So I just shimmied it through like so. And then we want to get our other 2 tabs through the slide. Okay. And then once you have it in, you can go ahead and shut it, and it should all lay flat. And it's okay that it's sticking outside of our hand. Now all we need to do is put some glue or tape on our tabs and adhere it to the back of our hand. So let's go ahead and do that. And then once we have it glued, we can open it up and we have this cute heart and hands. And then it folds very nicely. Now for this part, you can put your hand anywhere you want. You just want to make sure it's not going outside of our page. So right here would work for me. And you're just going to put glue on each side and adhere it to your hands. And remember, if you're unsure and you want to test it, just use something that's not permanent. So I think I'm going to use tape for this part, and I'm going to go ahead and put some tape down. And there we have it, guys. So what I'm going to do is go finish decorating my card, and then I'll be back to show you what I did. Okay guys, so this is what I came up with. It just says, sending you love, and then a hand with some hearts, and then we open it up and we have our hand. And what I like about this too is you can display this hand, and it looks so neat with the 3D heart in the middle. And then down here I just did thinking of you, and then of course on the back we have a place where we can write a message. Did anybody hear about the theft at the grocery store yesterday? They stole tons of hand sanitizer from the grocery store, and you know, he sure got a clean getaway. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by and crafting with me. Don't forget to stop by next week to see what's popping and dropping. Bye!